Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going over a recently released poll by St. Anselm College out of the state of New Hampshire that shows some very interesting, I would say, insight and interesting revelations in the midterms for 2022 in the state of New Hampshire. So we have some charts that we could go through as well, but I'm just going to scroll down to page 8 or page 9. This is where it starts getting into the real information. The charts are kind of the same thing as this. That's just, in my opinion, easier to view and keep track of. So let's get into it. Would you say that things in our country are heading in the right direction or the wrong track? 28% of the voters in New Hampshire think it's on the right track. 62% say the wrong track. Now, this is important to remember because Joe Biden did win the state of New Hampshire by 7 points over Donald Trump in 2020. Now, obviously, Trump and Biden themselves played a factor in this, but this is still something interesting to keep in the back of your mind. If the election for Congress were held today, which candidate would you vote for, a Republican or a Democrat? 46% of people would vote for Republicans, 43% would vote for a Democrat. Now, this is very, very interesting because New Hampshire is a very independent-heavy state. What I mean by that is voter registration is pretty much like, I think, 30% Republican, 30% Democrat or so, and then 30% independent. It's pretty much an even split, to be honest. And the independents are what makes the election go one way or the other. If this poll is accurate, and I have every inclination to believe that it is, Republicans start off with 46% of the vote. Democrats start off with 43%. In a state that Democrats have been winning for a while, and especially if you have some popular Republicans on the ballot with a 46% starting point, this could be potentially very good news for Republicans in the state of New Hampshire. And honestly, a state that 2022 was make or break for the Republicans in New Hampshire, because if the Republicans don't do good in 2022 in the state of New Hampshire, it's a Republican wave year. It's an environment that's favorable to them, and they have one of the most popular governors in the country potentially running for Senate. If Republicans can't win in New Hampshire in 2022, then I think they seriously need to relook at how they're running. But yeah, that is the election for Congress, the generic poll. Now we have Joe Biden's approval rating. This is obviously following the whole situation with Afghanistan and everything. So we have 22% who strongly approve and 22% who somewhat approve. That adds up to 44%. And then you have strongly disapprove at 49% and somewhat disapprove at 6%. Joe Biden having a 49% strong disapproval rating out of a state that he won like New Hampshire, it's not too good. Especially when you look at that, what happened with 2016. President Trump won Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. And then coming into 2020, all the polls showed that he was underwater in these states. Even by a few points, he was still underwater nonetheless. And President Trump ended up losing all three of the states. So being either underwater or very close to is something to keep an eye on, especially if you're running for president or running in a state that voted for another candidate. So 44% approve, 55% disapprove, no opinion, 1%. Governor Chris Sununu's job approval rating. This is where things get dicey for Democrats. 31% of people strongly approve. 33% of people somewhat approve. 64% of people overall approve of the governor. And we also have 16% who disapprove somewhat and 18% who strongly disapprove. Chris Sununu having a 64% approval rating compared to a 34% disapproval rating, especially with the whole situation that's going on right now, like with, I don't have to get into it, everyone knows what's going on. That is a very good thing for Sununu and a very good thing for Republicans statewide, because 2020 was proof, 2016 was proof, and 2018 is proof. When Chris Sununu is the leading Republican on the ballot, Republicans statewide do better. I know Joe Biden won in 2020, so this gets overlooked, but the Republicans flipped, I believe it's the state representatives or the state councils, they flipped that bureau in 2020, while Joe Biden won the state by 7, and Jeanne Shaheen won the state by, I think, 14 points. Chris Sununu is the best performing, I think, politician in the state of New Hampshire right now. And with these numbers, it certainly suggests that. And now we go down to Jeanne Shaheen, who, again, just won re-election by 14 points. She has a approval rating of 28% strong and 20% somewhat. That's 48%. Somewhat disapprove of 15 and strongly disapprove of 31. That makes a 48% approval rating to 46% disapproval rating. Now, with numbers like these a year ago or 2 years ago, maybe the Republicans, if they ran someone who was a good candidate, like maybe Chris Sununu, maybe Kelly Ayotte, maybe they could have made the race competitive. But I still expect Shaheen would end up winning at the end of the day. But again, Chris Sununu is the highest performing approval politician in the state, and this is where things get dicey. And if you're a Democrat, you might want to buckle up here. Senator Maggie Hassan has a 23% approval rating and 21% somewhat approval rating. That is 44% overall. Somewhat disapprove is 13, and strongly disapprove is 34. This is not good from the standpoint of she has a 48% disapproval rating overall, but a 34% solid disapproval rating compared to Jeanne Shaheen, who had, let me get the exact number, strong disapprove 31, that's 3 points higher, and compared to Sununu, whose strong disapprove was only 18. So if it's going to be Sununu versus Hassan, Sununu's strong disapproval rating is way lower than Hassan's is. Now, this could obviously be made up, and Senate is a lot different than governor, but still, if you're Maggie Hassan, you're not going to love these numbers, and I think she knows that. And I think I've seen a lot of advertising because I'm in the window of where I'm in Massachusetts, but I get the New Hampshire ads sometimes on YouTube and stuff. So Maggie Hassan's starting to do a lot of internet ads as well, I think, to kind of make up for this and try to get some popularity back. Now, Representative Chris Pappas, who I've heard conflicting things. Maybe he'll run for Congress again. If he gets redistricted, maybe he might run for governor. We'll have to wait and see. But 21% approved, 21% somewhat approved, 11% somewhat approved, 31% strong disapprove for a rating of 42 to 42. You know, Chris Pappas, he's, I don't know. I don't know what to make of this. 42% approved, 42% disapprove, no opinion 16. What I would take away from this, honestly, is there's a pretty high no opinion rating, which, you know, it's interesting. If the Republicans put up a really good candidate, like his name is Matt Mowers, who ran 2 years ago, or a year ago, I guess. If he was the nominee against Pappas again, the race will probably be closer. It was like 5 points last time. Maybe it could be even closer this time. But 16% no opinion is something that I think could help or could hurt Pappas. It can really go either way. Representative Ann Custer, who just won re-election by about, I think, 13 points or so in her district. Strongly approval 23, somewhat approved 20. Strong disapprove 31, somewhat disapprove 11. Overall, an approval rating of 43, disapprove of 42. Again, 15% no opinion, so kind of the same thing as Pappas. It also goes into details about the Afghanistan war a little bit, kind of where people view on this. And 9% said we should have stayed in Afghanistan pretty much forever. 58% said we should have left the country, but the pullout of Afghanistan should have been handled better. 14% say the leaving was way overdue. And 19% say we shouldn't have been there in the first place. And in your view, who's the most responsible for this? This is where things get interesting. Bush, he was the one who gave the order to go into Afghanistan, has 27%. Obama has 4%. Trump has 13%. And Biden has 44%. I mean, the numbers show this, but also I completely agree with this. Biden and Bush are both at fault for the Biden and Bush are both responsible for the Afghanistan war. Trump and Obama, I think both honestly don't really have much blame to go around. I think honestly Trump at 13 is too high. I think Obama and Trump should both be 4 and 4 to be honest, because both of them really didn't do anything to make things worse or really make things better. It just was kind of there. Biden messed up the pullout. Bush brought us into the war, so I agree with this as well. It goes into specifics about the Afghan potential refugees who helped the U.S. 54% say some of them should be brought into the country. 37% say all. 8% say none. Does Joe Biden's handling of the Afghan crisis impact your views in next year's election? This is very interesting. Inclined more Democratic vote, 14%. Inclined more Republican, 43%. Or no difference, 43%. My question is, the inclined to vote more Republican, 43. Are those Republicans saying that? Or are those independents who voted for Biden last time saying that? Because that's the real question. We know that if Republicans win every single vote that President Trump got in 2020, it won't be enough to win the state. We know this. President Trump's support in the state of New Hampshire maxes out at about 46%, which is what he got in 2016, and he got a little less than that in 2020. So President Trump can max out at 46%. Chris Sununu got like 65% last year. So we know Sununu can get more voters. We also know, I think Kelly Ayotte also overperformed Trump in 2016. So Republicans in New Hampshire can do better than President Trump. The question is, in a Senate race environment, will they be able to? But we'll have to wait and see. And that goes into vaccines a little bit as well. I don't want to get flagged on the video or anything, so I'm just going to leave it there. And go to the last one that is really significant. If the election for Senate were held today, between Maggie Hassan and Chris Sununu, who would you vote for? Maggie Hassan gets 41%, Chris Sununu gets 49%. I'm telling you. I'm watching a lot of videos where people are saying if it's Maggie Hassan versus Chris Sununu, Maggie Hassan is still going to win. In my opinion, I don't see it right now. I really don't. I mean, I understand it's September 1st. I think it's September 1st, yeah. September 1st of 2021, so politics is always changing. We'll have to wait and see, but if the election were held today, right now, my money's on Chris Sununu running, and my money's on Chris Sununu winning as well. I mean, I don't think Chris Sununu would win by 8%. I mean, I think that's, like, pretty much in fantasy world, if you ask me. But is it a stretch to say Chris Sununu beats Maggie Hassan by 3 or 4%? Not really. When you look at that, Maggie Hassan's the only senator underwater, and I think the only Congress representative underwater as well, and Chris Sununu is about 20 points over. I mean, this is not looking too good for Maggie Hassan. She has to figure things out and get it back on track now, or she might see Sununu taking her spot in the end of the year next year. And that goes into more specifics, but yeah. That's going to do it for today's video. I know this is kind of a little bit of a long one, so if you stuck to the end, thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like the video and subscribe. If you're a returning subscriber of mine, thank you so much for coming back. I mean, I say it every video, but it really absolutely means the world to me. You guys keep coming back. I really appreciate it. You know, I'm looking at the analytics all the time, and I see the viewer numbers keep going up, and the audience retention keeps going up. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. That's going to do it for today's video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.